Welcome to another episode of the Mindset Flex podcast. This is your host, Elise, and today we're talking about manifestation in a very special way because I'm just here to tell you a story that literally just unfolded about an hour ago. But before we get into what happened today, we're going to back up to 2021, January, so first month of last year. I hit a huge goal in my business that I've been working towards since I was 19. And it kind of sent me into a quarter life crisis because I realized all of the dreams and goals that I put on hold in order to honestly just chase being financially free, which is all good. It really is all good. And I'm so glad that I did that because it allowed me to go after all the things I wanted to go after this year. But something that I learned and something that I would change if I could go back in time is instead of taking 2 years to sell my soul and grind, I would have maybe taken 4 years and taken a little bit of more time to truly go after those dreams and goals that are in my heart. Because let me tell you one thing, if you're chasing money, which I actually was not, it just happened that money came my way when I was fighting for other people's dreams, to be honest. But once money came, I realized that money only solves money problems. So if you're chasing money out there thinking that once I make it, all my problems are going to go away, my life is going to be so much easier, I'm here to tell you that money will only solve money problems. That's the only thing it will solve. You will still wake up in the morning empty if there are things that you have put on hold or things that you have let go because you told yourself some sort of story that it's just not in the cards for you. So don't think that success only means financial success. I'm literally here to tell you that as a 26-year-old who achieved financial security, like time freedom and financial freedom, it literally only solved one problem, and that was my money problem. So let's put that aside and let me tell you about the dream that I gave up on. So as I mentioned before, I grew up cross-country skiing competitively for Hungary. I did biathlon where you have a gun and you shoot. At the age of 9, I believe I earned my spot to go to the World Cup at my age. So it was only one spot and I earned it. And I competed in Italy at the Trofeo Topolino, which was such a life-changing experience for me. And even though my regimen was so strict and it was strictly a disciplined sport that I was practicing, I still was so in love with it. Like I just loved skiing. I loved competing. So when I came out to America at the age of almost 14, I was like 2 months before my birthday, I moved to Cleveland. Obviously, my parents moved to Cleveland. I came with them, didn't really have a choice, right? I'm a minor. I had to give up on that dream of competing, of going to the Olympics and making it as a skier because there was no place to ski. And we came out with 2 bags, completely broke. And it's not like my parents had money to ship me off to like New York or Vermont or something so I could practice. Like it was gone. My dream was gone. One day to the next, cold turkey, peace out, bye. You got to let go of it. Now you're in America. And I understood that. Like I realized the opportunity that I had in America. So as hard as it was to give up on that, I understood the trade. Like I understood it. So fast forward, few years later, over 10 years later, I'm on this quest to compete in skiing again. I watched a movie, Eddie the Eagle. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It came out in 2015. And it's about Eddie, this kid who just had this dream to go to the Olympics in, same thing, skiing. And he took on ski jumping, which is insane. Like that is insane. You are jumping so far and so scary. You can wreck yourself. You can die. You can easily die. If you've never seen a movie, watch it. He succeeds. I mean, it's not like he wins anything, but as a 20-something-year-old, he learns to ski jump and actually gets to compete in the Olympics. So super inspiring story. I watched that movie and I remember running to my mom's room. I'm like 20 or 21 and I'm like, Mom, I'm going to compete in skiing and it's going to be ski jumping. And my mom's just like, here goes like another crazy idea. Of course you are. Good for you, honey, but kind of not taking it seriously. And it's just been this dream in my heart that's been eating me alive. Like, I don't know if you have like something in you that just drives you crazy, eats you alive. Like, you know that this is the thing that you want to do. and you ought to do, but it's crazy. Like it's kind of crazy to everyone else. And it's very crazy to you. Like part of you has this doubt of like, why is this even in me? Like, why am I even thinking about this? Can I just not? Like, can I let it go? Like, this is kind of psychotic. So if you have any of those dreams and you've put them on hold or you put a pin in it, because most likely you did, because I did as well, I really need you to listen right now as I'm telling you this insane, crazy story. So I'm living in Ohio. I have this dream and I tell my mom that I'm going to compete in ski jumping. And I do my research. I'm obsessing over it for a while. And I just realized, well, there's absolutely no way of me doing this because I can't move anywhere to train. I'm broke. I'm 21 years old. I have no idea what I'm doing with my life. So I got to grind first. I got to make it. I got to have my life together before I can think about competing in skiing. So I get married. I get pregnant, have a baby, and I find myself living in Telluride, Colorado, which is southern Colorado, about 6 hours from Denver. So pretty far from, honestly, like civilization. And the dream comes up again. And it's about 2 winters ago when I start obsessing over it again. And now this time I come up with the idea of competing in downhill. I'm like, I'm going to learn. I'm going to be really good at downhill skiing. I'm going to do slalom. I'm going to do Super G, and I'm going to compete for Hungary because I'm still a Hungarian citizen. So I can somehow figure this out. But if any of you have been following me for a while, maybe on Instagram or any other social media platform, you might know that I have not had a green card for 14 years now. So I actually have not been able to leave the country. And so 2 years ago, when I messaged my old coach from Hungary, she kind of let me know, well, you know, Elizabeth Swaney competed in the Olympics for Hungary, and it was a total embarrassment because she did a half pipe and literally didn't do anything. And since then, we don't allow anyone who's outside of Hungary, even though you're a Hungarian citizen, obviously, but we don't allow anyone to compete for the country. And she was like, you can kind of forget about it. So there was another sign for me to forget about this. But I kid you not, you guys, I just could not put it down. I could not put it down. Like I am so obsessed with figuring out how to compete in skiing because I don't want to die regretting. Like I don't want to be on my deathbed and have this gigantic regret. Like the only thing that I would regret if I die right now is not going after my skiing goals and not competing again in skiing. It's like I started something, you know, it feels like you start a project, like the project of your life, and then something comes up and it gets cut and it's just like unfinished, but you spend maybe years putting time into this thing, but then it's just abandoned. It's just left there and there's no end to it. And it's a half finished project. And for me, this has driven me crazy for the longest time. And this has been the one thing that I have not been able to let go of because I know in my heart that this is something that I have to go after. And now we fast forward to 2021. So when the pandemic hit in 2020, I started going to this teeny tiny little gym in Breckenridge. It's basically a garage, but it was the only place that was 24/7, no masks or reservations required. And it was a pretty incredible thing to have during the pandemic when everything was shut down. And I was literally prepping to compete in 2021. So I started going to this gym. It's teeny tiny, maybe like it has 20 members. And it also happened to be the same gym that these pro skier brothers also went to. And we became really good friends. And I mentioned to them that my goal was to throw a backflip this past year. It was kind of a joke because I had these crazy big dreams when it comes to skiing, and I'm constantly pursuing them and literally doing everything I can in my life to go after these goals. And so when I said it, they were like, oh, absolutely. Like, you can totally do it. And I kind of was like, wait, what? Like, this is the first time in my life that someone is telling me that I can do something in skiing because I've actually never had that. Like, even my coach in Hungary, I honestly grew up never feeling like I was good enough because that was the story that I was told for the longest time. Like, even though I literally earned my spot at my age in my whole country to compete for my country in the World Cup, I still got the narrative that I am not a good enough skier. And literally from my coach. So hearing this, I just was like, whoa, like, is this what I needed to hear? Like, is this happening right now? Let's freaking do it. So literally a week later, it was February 7th. We go to the Woodward Barn. It's an indoor trampoline barn, and all the freestyle skiers and snowboarders go there, throw tricks, learn new stuff. So we go there. I'm the only 26-year-old. And I'm learning to do a backflip. And within about an hour, I actually learned to do it by myself on the floor. So automatically they were like, all right, let's go to your backyard, build a backflip. And I'm like, holla, let's go, let's do it. So I find myself in my backyard with a jump build, throw the backflip, compress my spine, throw it again, compress my spine even more. And yeah, not a very good looking story, as I am there failing at the backflip, feeling like a total failure. But here's what happened. That was the beginning of something incredible, because I finally did something that scared the living hell out of me. And I kept going forward no matter how much fear I had in me. Now, after this, and I'm not only going to talk about manifestation, we're also going to talk about fear, because this made a huge impact on my life, like throwing this backflip, compressing my spine. And for the rest of the weeks and months, obviously I was also training to compete in bodybuilding in the summer. I had shows coming up, and it was my first time back in competing since 2015. So I put a lot of pressure on myself. So I really did not want to mess myself up even more. Didn't even tell my coach about my back. I just kept training hard. But the boys were like, you got to throw it again. Come on. Like, the season cannot end without you throwing the backflip. And so I kept pursuing this, kept going back to Woodward and practicing this freaking backflip. And I'm telling you guys, after I screwed up my back, something in me changed. And every time I went to go throw a backflip on the tramp, my body would completely freeze, like my mind would freak out, and I would just be so triggered. And I'm like, I don't understand what's happening, because this never happened before. Like, what the freak is happening? I threw the backflip like so many times last week. I was fine on the tramp. Then I did it on the floor, like no problem. And then I screw up my back and I cannot get over it. I can't get over it. And I kept being pushed, and I did not give up, you guys. Like, I have so much fear towards this freaking backflip that my body actually totally freaks out. Like, it goes into flight or fight mode. My nervous system is shut down, and I'm unable to move my body. And I've never experienced anything like that. So fear paralyzes. So if you think about like things that you're afraid of that are not physical, right? Like, this is an actual physical thing that happened to me. But if you're afraid of like starting a business and stepping away from your job, or if you're afraid of doing something that your gut is telling you to do because you know that it's going to enhance your life, but you're afraid of it, just remember that fear is the enemy. Living in fear will paralyze you. So as long as you have fear in you, you will not be able to take action. Back to the backflip. Most of you would think, all right, dude, you have been trying for so long to go after these crazy, wild, psychotic dreams. Clearly, it's not working out for you. Clearly, it's not. I mean, you literally tried your first trick of your life and you messed yourself up. Give it up. And I have to tell you that everything in me this entire past year has been screaming and telling me to give it up. Just walk away. It's not for you. Stop pushing it. Just walk away. Stop. That's what fear will do. Fear will just keep telling you to stop, turn around, go back, stop. But I realized that's a boring way to live. That's boring. Like, constantly living in fear, giving into my fear is freaking boring. And I don't want that. I don't want to die with regret of not going after my dreams. And the reason I'm telling you this whole backstory is so you see and hear that most of the time, going after your dream is not going to be smooth sailing. You're going to fail and fail and fail. You're going to be afraid. You're going to have to deal with head trash. You're going to have to deal with rejection. You're going to have to deal with literally all of the negative things. And that's exactly why you need to go after your dream, because that is the beautiful process that's going to transform you into a whole new person. I don't want to stay fearful. I don't want to stay who I am now. I want to get better. I want to become the best version of me, living fully in my potential and walking in fully who I am. And I will not be able to do this if I give up on my dream, on my obsession, on the thing that is in my heart that won't leave me alone. So fast forward again to 2 weeks ago. Okay, so this entire year has gone by. I've practiced all summer. I'm practicing 360s. I would put on my ski boots. I'm just constantly obsessing over this thing and I'm not giving up. So far this season, we've had like 2 months of the winter season. I have been going out skiing at least 3 times a week. I'm in the park, which scares the living hell out of me. I feel so embarrassed. I am now 27 years old and I'm the only person basically who is a total noob. I don't know what I'm doing. And it just feels like I'm making a fool of myself. And last week, actually 2 weeks ago, we go to Woodward again. Me, Erhard, and my friend Steven, who is also trying to throw a backflip. He broke his shoulder on a backflip. But anyway, so we go to Woodward and I'm like, well, it's been almost a year. I got this. I can do it. And my body is freaking out. I cannot throw a single backflip. I start crying and I run away and I drive home and I'm just sobbing and I'm like, what is wrong with me? What in the world is wrong with me? I'm not meant for this. I should just give up. Like I suck. There's all these 5-year-olds throwing cork sevens in there and I can't even freaking do a backflip on a trampoline. What is wrong with me? I hope you guys see that literally every fiber of my being has been wanting to give up. I just want to give up. I don't want to keep going. I just want to say it's not meant for me, put a pin in it and leave it there. But you know what? I just know I won't be able to sleep at night. I know that I won't be able to keep going. And I know that it will eat me alive if I don't pursue this and give it my all. So let's talk about manifestation and what happened today. I got a season pass to the barn last night. Yes, that's right. Even after running away 2 weeks ago, crying and not even being able to do anything, I'm like, nope. I'm going to freaking buy this season pass to the barn because I'm going to keep going. And I go today and I go with my friend Steven and he's like, all right, let's do the backflip. And I spent all day visualizing myself doing this backflip and we're standing by the foam pit and I'm like, all right, you know what? I just need your help. Like, just flip me over. Like, just be here right now. Just flip me over. All right. He flips me over, get into the foam pit. All right, let's do it again. And then he's like, you got it. You totally got it by yourself. And I'm like, I got it. And I stand there and I kid you not, I freeze. I cannot do it by myself. I don't trust myself. And then I just walk away frustrated, like what in the actual world is wrong with me? And I sit down next to this dude who's been watching me and he's just like, what's going on? Like the backflip's not happening. And I'm like, man, like I compressed my spine doing it on skis and now I just can't do it. And he's like, of course you can't and you shouldn't. Every time you try to do it, your body gets triggered. You go into fight or flight, your nervous system shuts down and you actually cannot do it. So we got to get you some small wins. And so he actually helped me learn new tricks. He helped me learn a front flip and a misty and I kept doing it for 2 hours and felt amazing. And I literally was driving home, also hired him as my coach, literally like it all worked out. He's like, well, my son comes here every day. And I'm like, please give me something to do because I'm just here watching him because he's obsessed with coming to the barn. And I'm like, bro, I've been looking for someone this whole year to hire and teach me all this stuff. And it literally all worked out. And I'm like, I'm driving home and we have like a crazy snowstorm. So it took me an hour to get home, which usually takes like 30 minutes, but I'm just driving home cheesing. I've never been so happy. Like I haven't felt this much liberation, this much happiness, this much hope in an entire year. And I'm like, God, why didn't you do this a year ago? And God was like, because I needed to see if you truly wanted this. I needed to see how much you would fight for this after you kept failing and failing and failing. And that is my story for you today. That is my story about manifestation. And all manifestation is focusing on what you want and the opposite of what you want not even existing in your mind. And you keep persevering if it's truly something that you love and something that you want to do. Because if you really want it, one day, I don't know when, but after fighting for it, no matter how many times you failed, but after fighting for it, something will show up. The perfect thing that you've been looking for, the perfect thing that you need will show up. And literally, I'm telling you guys this story right now, today. This just happened an hour ago because I could not believe that finally, after just in this part, a year of fighting for this because I want it so bad, something magical just happened because I did not give up. So my question for you is, what is that dream in your heart that you've given up on? And are you ready to make 2022 the year of manifesting this crazy psychotic dream that is in your heart? If you love this episode, please share it on your stories and tag me. My Instagram is at Elise Phillip, ELIZFULOP. I love you guys, and I'm going to leave you the same way I leave you every time. Make the rest of your lives the best of your lives. I'll see you in the next episode.